did you come here?
Because I tried to commit suicide.
Yes, I knew that, of course. But what I don't know is why you tried to do this. Could you tell us how you did it?
I took an overdose of pills.
100, didn't you?
100, yes.
And why did you want to commit suicide?
Because I didn't want to face anything.
This wasn't the first time.
No.
How often did you try?
So I tried quite a few times.
Why did you try so persistently to take your own life? It's a difficult question.
Yes. I was just desperate, and I couldn't face things that had come up. So I thought the easy way out was to take pills and it would be all over. That's what I did. I guess that's just part of me. When I was quite young, for a time I went to a stage where I was a real monster. I tried to get my mother's attention, which I couldn't get, and I would break things and cry and throw tantrums, and it didn't do any good. And then I realized that my aunts and other people could see how hurt I was, and I didn't want anyone to see, to be able to tell that I was hurt, so I just tried to be the opposite, I didn't care about anything, and it worked. People believed that I didn't care.
There was nothing that you could enjoy?
Absolutely nothing. There was no one I could see that I'd be glad to see. There was nothing anybody could say that
would cheer you.
That would cheer me.
I am a paranoid schizophrenic. I hear voices that other people cannot hear. Sometimes these voices come from electronic items like the radio or the lights, and other times they come out of nowhere. I am a paranoid schizophrenic. I get strange ideas about people or objects. Sometimes I feel what happens on the news is directly linked to my own mundane actions in the day. And because of this, I am not only racked with guilt, but also terrified. I am terrified that someone may realise that I have caused devastating events in the world simply by having a different breakfast cereal. I am a paranoid schizophrenic. I have issues with my thoughts. Sometimes people steal them from my head, or maybe people can hear what I'm thinking. Usually when people hear my thoughts, I'm thinking bad things and I'm left upset and embarrassed, although at times I get very angry about how intrusive people are when they hear or steal my thoughts. I have been known to tell people this when I suspected them of doing it. The closest thing I found to a solution was wearing a special hat that acts as a block against people accessing my thoughts. It protects me from the many thought thieves in society. I am a paranoid schizophrenic. I get very suspicious, and sometimes I worry about cameras hidden in my house. And I try to find out why they have been put there. I often fear people are out to harm me, like raping or murdering me. Because of these fears, I tend not to leave the flat for long periods as I am so terrified. I am a paranoid schizophrenic, and I have times where I have to be put in a psychiatric hospital. Sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months. This happens when the doctor thinks I'm sick. Often I disagree with the doctor on this issue, and I frequently think I'm fine when he deems me ill. Incidentally, what he usually does is section me. This means I have no choice. I have to go into hospital, and as I hate hospital, I tend to feel hate and hostility towards the medical professionals who keep me there. The longest time I did in the ward was several months. This was in an all-female ward, which is slightly better than the mixed one. My memories of that stay are filled with anger, fear and compulsory sedation, so I don't really want to think about it. I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, and there are times when I forget to look after myself. Sometimes I stop washing myself or my clothes. I don't tidy my flat, brush my hair or think about how I put outfits together. The way I see it is that it isn't a big deal, as during these times I don't normally leave the flat much. These things just stop mattering to me and I have other things to think about. I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, and I experience bouts of telepathic ability where I can send and receive telepathic messages. Sometimes this is insightful and other times it's a curse and fails me. For example, for my 20th birthday party, I sent out all the invites telepathically, but nobody received them, and consequently nobody came. I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, and I have to take medication to even out my mood and deal with the psychotic symptoms. I take 8 tablets a day and I hate it. I hate taking tablets and I hate needing tablets, but I do. I discovered this the hard way several times. It's become apparent to me that if I don't take the tablets, I end up in hospital. And as I told you earlier, I hate those places. I've taken a variety of medication over the past 6 years, and some have made me very physically ill. However, the ones I take now are okay. They're especially for treatment-resistant schizophrenia. Being in this category used to bother me, but it doesn't anymore. The only downside to this medication is that I have to have blood tests to ensure my white cells are okay. I'm a paranoid schizophrenic and I need to ensure my life is relatively routine. I need to take my pills at the same time each day, get 8 hours sleep and not get stressed. If I don't do these things, I get sick, very quickly. For the same reason, I mustn't drink alcohol or take drugs. Some of my family and friends understand this, but others don't. And incidentally, at times I am led astray, out of my routine, and I ultimately suffer for it. Although I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, I do small amounts of voluntary work that helps me pass the time and gives me a sense of purpose that has been lacking in my life for years. I'm not particularly reliable or consistent in the amount of work I do, but I see it as a stepping stone and hope that I may one day be able to do more with my life. Although I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, I now live independently in a flat on my own. I try to keep on top of cleaning and washing, but sometimes I need reminding. I really enjoy being in the flat and drawing and reading. I'm not the sort of person who needs people around all the time. I'm very content with my own company. However, I do have regular visits from my social worker who checks everything is okay. Although I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, I can now stay on top of my medication. Having been through years of the traumas of non-compliance, I have made the decision to take the tablets and haven't missed a single day in over a year. This is largely because I'm finally on a medication that works for me. My whole mindset on meds has changed. I see my treatment regime as no different to that of someone with epilepsy. The epileptic takes tablets and they're well, and if they don't, they have fits. Epilepsy is a lifelong illness that will always need treatment. Just like my meds, if I take them, I'm quite well, and if I don't, I get sick and end up in hospital. And I accept that, like epilepsy, my illness will need lifelong management, and provided I cooperate with those who wish to help me, I hope to lead a very fulfilling life.